Marsau Scott versus Martel Hall from Love and Marriage, Huntsville. I saw this article floating around that said Marsau is a better man than Martel, and I get where the writer is coming from. Marsau seems like he's holding it down, no cheating. Rumors, he speaks his mind, he holds people accountable, and his business looks solid. He's there for his wife Tisha and their kids, which sounds like what a good husband should be. But is Marsau really the better man? Or is it just a surface-level look at the situation? That's what we're going to unpack today, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end because you don't want to miss a thing. Now, let me say first that just because we don't hear about Marsau cheating doesn't mean everything is perfect. Sometimes the things we don't see are the ones that matter most. One of the things that raised my eyebrows about Marsau is how he travels out of the country like to Africa without Tisha and the kids. Now, I get it. Maybe it was a business trip. Maybe he just wanted some time alone. But to me, that's behavior that looks more like a single man than a married man. If you're married with kids, you usually want to travel together or at least tell your spouse why you're going alone. Being secretive like that feels sneaky. And then there's the whole situation with Marsau not wearing his wedding ring. It's a bit troubling. People say the ring doesn't matter if the love is real. And sure, maybe that's true for some, but honestly, the ring is a symbol. It's a sign to the world and to your spouse that you're committed. So when Marsau doesn't wear it, it sends mixed signals. I also came across some tweets about Marsau, and people are saying things like he wants Tisha at home with the kids so he can cheat in peace. Now, I'm not saying Marsau is cheating, but when people talk like that, it makes you wonder what the energy really is. Remember, this is reality TV, so it's hard to tell what's real and what's just for the cameras. Maybe Marsau is all about Tisha, behind the scenes, and the whole not wearing the ring thing is just a show. But for me, the vibe he gives off doesn't scream doting husband. It's more like someone who's trying to keep his options open or keep some things private. On the flip side, Martel Hall's name always comes up when we talk about cheating scandals, drama, and messy relationships. He's been involved in some wild situations on the show, especially with his ex-wife Melody and baby mama Arian. And while Martel has had his fair share of issues, I don't think it's fair to say Marsau is automatically better just because he hasn't been caught up in as much drama. Both men have their flaws, and it's important to remember that what we see on TV isn't the full story. For example, Martel's relationship with Melody was messy, but you have to respect that he's been upfront about some of the issues they faced. Marsau might seem like he's got it all together, but we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Also, the fact that Marsau moves around without his ring and sometimes seems secretive could mean there's more going on than meets the eye. One thing that stood out to me is how Marsau interacts with Tisha. Some people say he tries to control her or hold her back. Early on in the show, it felt like he was stopping her from growing and doing her own thing outside the house. I get that as a husband you want to support your wife, but you also have to encourage her to be independent and chase her dreams. Tisha gives off such a loyal vibe, and I truly believe she wouldn't do anything to hurt Marsau. But sometimes, men, even good men, can get jealous or suspicious even when there's no reason to be. It's just human nature, I guess. But a truly good husband would support his wife spreading her wings because it reflects on him too. It shows he's confident in their relationship and proud of her growth. So, Marsau, if you're listening, that's a message to you. Now, let's talk about the friendship between Marsau and Martel. They used to be friends, and some people say that's suspicious because you never know who you're really around. Even if Marsau isn't cheating, he's been around Martel and his circle, which some say might have enabled bad behavior. If you remember, Marsau was able to call out Tisha's ex-husband. But there wasn't much checking on Martel when he was doing his thing. Maybe Marsau didn't want to get involved, or maybe he was just as guilty of turning a blind eye. The thing with friendships, sometimes people cover for each other even when they know something's wrong. At the end of the day, Marsau might be keeping his family together, but is he really the better man? Honestly, I don't think so. To me, Marsau and Martel are more alike than different. They both have their issues, their ups and downs. And just because Marsau keeps his personal life quieter doesn't mean he's perfect or better. It just means we don't see the full picture. I will say, though, sometimes Marsau says things that make you go, okay, Marsau, I get it. And other times, you just shake your head like, really, bro? But hey, he's not my husband. That's Taisha's job to figure out. What do you think? You team Marsau, team Martel, or team neither? Okay, I'm guessing a lot of you are team neither because this situation is messy all around. One thing I want to add is how people shouldn't dogpile on Martel. Yes, he's made mistakes, but comparing him to Marsau in public like that isn't always fair. You never know how things might change or shake out behind the scenes. Relationships are complicated. What we see on the screen is just a slice of real life. Sometimes people are working on themselves, sometimes they're struggling, so let's try to keep an open mind. I also want to remind you that no couple should be your goal. Every relationship has challenges that outsiders don't see. Just because two people are together doesn't mean it's perfect or something you want for yourself. Everyone's journey is different. So, to wrap it all up, Marsau Scott might look like the better man because he keeps his family intact and isn't caught up in as much drama. But when you look closer, there are things that make you question if he's really the ideal husband. Martel Hall has had his problems, but he's also been more transparent about them. Both men have their flaws and strengths, and it's hard to pick sides when the truth is messy. Another thing I want to talk about is the pressure these men face, living their lives so publicly. When you're on a reality show like Love and Marriage Huntsville, every move you make is scrutinized. Fans watch everything from how you treat your spouse to the smallest personal habits. Marsau not wearing his ring or traveling alone might seem suspicious to some, but maybe there's a deeper reason behind it that we don't know. Sometimes people just need space to breathe or deal with things privately without the camera's eye watching every second. That kind of pressure can mess with anyone's behavior. Also, the whole better man debate kind of makes me think about what really makes someone good or bad in a relationship. Is it just about cheating or keeping your family together?